20th of November 2023. This is the second edition of my Loose Cannon series, and this one, I'm sure it's gonna make a few people jump. But I must warn you now, if you have a sensitive soul and are easily offended, maybe you shouldn't listen to this one. Because I'm going to talk about the harbour system problems. And I'm not going to pull punches. And I'm not going to tiptoe around feelings and emotions and sensitivities. Shit like that. I'm going to call a spade a fucking bulldozer, and that's the end of the story. Because we as a country is in deep shit. I get this article from MoneyWeb, and I'm going to read a lot. So it's facts, it's there, you can go and look, but I'm going to give commentary as I go. So, let's roll out the cannon, here we go. It will take months to clear Durban port backlog. Even non-ship watchers will have noticed the huge number of vessels anchored offshore on Friday. There were more than 60. Now let that sink in. That is 60 ships lying outside Durban harbour to offload and to load. And what do we have? We have a cadre deployed to the Department of Transport, transnet. She is in charge of the rail infrastructure. Incidentally, the infrastructure that Fikile and Balula fucked up. Yes, he fucked it up. Why? Because he's unqualified for the position. But he was in charge of this. And there's court cases and there's commissions of inquiry and fuck knows what about all the irregularities that happened at Transnet. But you have to bring all of this back to relate to the bigger picture. For that cadre in charge of it, this is just an image of the harbour, and she hears there's a lot of fucking ships waiting to load or offload. Transnet says it will take 7 to 15 weeks to clear the 63 vessels at anchor off the port of Durban, with some importers saying delays in offloading containers mean they will miss the Christmas rush. Of these 63 vessels, 20 are destined for Durban Container Terminal, Pier 1 and Pier 2, managed by Transnet Port Terminals. Now, I am sitting here and I'm shivering if I try to fucking imagine what that port terminal's offices look like. I've seen too many government offices lately. I've seen images of what it looks like at the master's office. I've seen images of what it looks like at the deed office. I've seen images of people lying in the passages in hospitals at Tembisa and at Chris Hani, and people dying on the floors. All under control of this superior logic, natural intelligence cadres, where many international studies has proven the average IQ in South Africa is 69. The American military do not employ anybody with an IQ lower as 85. In most developed countries, IQ below 80 is seen as mentally retarded. Let that sink in. And then it says Transnet turnaround plan needs 122 billion rand. Yippee! 122 billion rand where they can fucking plunder. In a statement on Friday, Transnet said several initiatives had been implemented to clear the backlog. With all initiatives employed, it would take Pier 1 7 weeks to clear the backlog and 15 weeks for Pier 2 or less, the statement said. What the fuck is that? I would like to see that initiatives. I want to see those initiatives. Plans are in place to ramp up Pier 2's container handling from 2,500 to 4,000 containers a day over 3 months. There are also plans to increase Pier 1's container handling from 1,200 to 1,500 containers a day. Plans. Like the plans they had to build Kusile and Medupe. We're now 15 years down the fucking line and the things are not working yet. Last week, Briekmerke reported on the ever-lengthening queue of ships at anchor outside Durban, with ships taking 3 to 4 times the average time to offload a cargo. The world's largest container shipping company, MSC, recently advised clients that it would impose a congestion surcharge due to the backlog and difficult operating conditions in SA ports. In response to Moneyweb's questions, Transnet said it had deployed industrial engineers to maximize berth performance at the container terminals while engaging with original equipment manufacturers and second-hand cargo equipment suppliers to address the short-term challenges at the terminals. Short-term challenges, he calls it. Also on Friday, Transnet said it may suspend the processing of trucks bringing cargo into its Richards Bay port via road in northern KwaZulu-Natal. Lekker! Cut the trucks off. Who the fuck needs to get their stuff to the harbour to export? Oh shit, yeah, now I remember, the producers. Fuck the producers. Oh hell. And what about all the taxes these producers pay? What about all the people these producers employ? Oh, fuck. Well, alright. This is being done in the interest of public safety on the roads in the Umhlatuze local municipality. Only trucks whose vessels have been already nominated will be processed. Earlier this year, the Minerals Council of SA estimated more than 100,000 trucks a month were crowding SA ports, including Maputo in Mozambique, due to Transnet's inability to ship sufficient volumes via train. A proper functioning rail system could replace 400 trucks with a single train. Oh, fuck! That is amazing. Why haven't we thought about that? Oh shit, there is a fucking railway line running from Woodbank to Richards Bay that was super efficient and trains were moving on it like hell. And what happened? The transport cartels got hold of the fucking story and they started putting trucks on the roads. But every train replaces 400 trucks. What should we do? Good plan. Fuck the rail up. Let's sabotage a rail. Okay. And they got their wishes. The snarl up at SA ports is jamming up trade across the region, with exporters and importers taking to the air and the roads to get their products in and out of the country. Last week, the Lebombo border crossing between Komatipoort and Mozambique came to a standstill as truck drivers and taxi operators clashed, with truckers reportedly setting taxis alight and clashing with taxi marshals at the border. Due to congestion at SA ports, mining companies are making greater use of alternative ports in the region, such as Maputo. But the trucks can't get through the border. It is chaos. The roads are being destroyed and destroyed. Now, I just want to give you this piece of information. In the old days, the days when things were still working in South Africa, I had a family member that he retired and then they gave him a post-retirement job. And what his job was, to man that machine that you used to see in the old days. I don't know, many of you guys don't remember that, because that thing disappeared. It was standing on the highways specifically, and it was a long chassis, and it had a wheel, a truck wheel, going up and down next to that chassis. Up and down, and that thing was measuring the wear and tear on the road surface. I'm not going to waste your time with more on that. The end of that is that from that survey, it was established that one 30-ton truck, passing once past a point on the tarmac, generates as much wear and tear as 100,000 passenger vehicles. Let that sink in. And then you start putting the trucks bumper to bumper like trains going over that road. How long do you think that road will last? But we can see how the roads are crumbling, but that's for all. They will go back to gravel. We first go from tar road to pothole road, then to patched pothole roads, and then we just rip everything fucking out and we're back to gravel. And then we go from the gravel road to corrugation road, and then we go to corrugation road to another pothole road in the dirt road. And that's the end of travel, and we revert back to donkey carts. But the donkey carts can't go because the fucking potholes are too deep. Transnet said a multidisciplinary team identified and eliminated waste after studying each vessel and crane with a view to improve performance. According to the TPT Durban Terminal's Managing Executive Earl Peters, the immediate focus is on stabilizing operations through short-term interventions. Now, I would like you to see that interventions. New recruits have been brought on board to fill a fourth shift that will allow more ships to offload in a day, and maintenance service contract for existing equipment has been awarded to the Transnet Engineering. This will allow for digital tracking and monitoring of key performance indicators on the ground. Okay, fuck. Let's monitor more. Don't work. No fucking work. Don't work. Work is cock. Let's just monitor. A new OEM strategy has been finalized for acquiring new equipment over the next 10 years. And for managing the asset life cycle over the next 20 years. And what the fuck happens in the meantime? The ship's outside the harbour. One morning, don't be surprised if you look out of your window there on the Durban beachfront and you look, and to your amazement, there's fuck all ships all the ships has gone. Don't be surprised. They just lifted anchor and sailed off into the sunset. Fuck this joke. This banana republic that has collapsed. Transnet said Pier 1 will replace 16 rubber-tired gantry cranes and Pier 2 will acquire 36 straddle carriers in the first quarter of, wait for it, 2025. In 2026, Pier 2 will acquire 4 more ship-to-shore cranes. Okay. By that time, there is fuck all economy left. No ship will want to come here. There will be no need for ships because nobody in the country will need to ship anything out. Because a guy that produces table grapes, they harvest the grapes, put it in containers, ship it to the port, and it must get out as soon as possible. Not fucking 16 weeks later. In 16 weeks, that container is full of vinegar. That's all that's going to be left of that. But, now think about it. That farm is going to get no fucking money. What must they pay the farm workers with? Oh, fuck. The DOP system has been banished. Okay, so those guys will get nothing. This ANC cadres, with their superior logic and natural intelligence, has managed to take a well-run South African economy with a rail and port system the best in the Southern Hemisphere and fucked it to this. To sustain current operations, the sourcing of second-hand cargo handling equipment from customers as a temporary measure is underway. A 24-hour maintenance regime had also begun to secure the availability and the reliability of existing equipment in the interim, Transnet said in a statement. Aha! Doesn't this sound fucking familiar? Same cuck as at Eskom. The equipment maintenance contracts. And for that maintenance contractors to make a profit and to have an excellent business, things need to break down. We've seen it at Eskom. Now these guys are implementing it at Transnet and they are over the moon. Surcharge fee negotiations. Transnet said it's in the process of awarding the spares and maintenance services contract for the existing equipment comprising ship-to-shore cranes, rubber-tired gantry cranes, straddle carriers, reach stackers, and empty container handlers. The refurbishment and maintenance of some of the equipment has begun to improve asset utilization. Big fucking words. Big words. We are confident in our ability, having faced major unforeseen challenges successfully in the past, some much bigger than our current position, said Peters. What the fuck is that? A bigger fuck up than they've got there now. A 16-week delay. What was bigger? He added that container sector customers had demonstrated immense support during the current challenge and that negotiations with shipping lines on releasing the congestion surcharge fee for import containers were ongoing and inspired current recovery plans. Well, let's see. But let's analyze it a little bit more. We are sitting at the 20th of November. The shops are supposed to be stocked now for the Christmas season. Where are the Christmas stuff? Oh shit, it's lying on a ship outside Durban port. It might berth in 16 weeks. Let me put that into perspective. 16 weeks, let's call it 4 months. December, January, February, March. Fuck. That shit will most probably be in time for Easter. How clever is that? And then these people in charge of our lives, in charge of our country, in charge of our businesses, in charge of fucking everything, they have got this illusion that they're a role player in BRICS. What do they contribute to BRICS? Fuck all. I've said it. The raw materials we have, other BRICS countries have the same. And now we cannot get our fresh produce. The sector, the farming sector, which is still the best performing of all the sectors, can't get this shit out. So, other BRICS countries said, fuck that, we're going to buy from someone else, you cannot supply. Your supply is unreliable. Cheers. And the other BRICS countries cannot sell their shit to us because we cannot offload it. What the hell is going on? And you wonder why the revenue services are bitching that the tax collecting is taking a dive and the Minister of Finance said we're going to run out of money. That's the story. There's the story. A fucking vital component of any country, the rail and port system, fucked beyond repair. Beyond repair. Incidentally, I told someone last night in a debate, way back, when they started developing the coal fields at Ellis Ras for Medupi, President Zuma said a rail line must be built from there to Witbank to export, to connect to the Richards Bay line for exporting the coal via the Richards Bay coal terminal. That line must be built. That was, I think, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. Not a single fucking meter of work is done on that line that they wanted to build. Whereas the old regime built the line from Witbank to Richards Bay in 18 months. But wait, let's be clever. Let's chase all the white people out of the railway system, get rid of all the white people there. Because we don't want white people anywhere near anything. White people must fuck off. Okay, and what about all the skills that were fucking off with them? What is skills? Skills is that thing that you cannot expropriate. You acquire it over years of experience. You acquire it with a technical educational degree behind your name. Knowledge. You don't learn it on YouTube or on TikTok. This is the problem, South Africa. And the blacks, you talk about this and they say you're a racist. And they refer to apartheid. For fuck's sakes, during apartheid, the trains were running, the harbours were working, the mines were working, people had jobs, people were employed, everything was working. You could go to a hospital, you could get service, you could get a heart transplant for 2 rand, all of that. That was apartheid. But no, apartheid is kak, it must go. And now, what do we have? Natural intelligence in charge of the economy, and it is fucked. And while the country is absolutely falling apart, literally falling apart, Cyril is dancing around on the stage about kak in Israel. Man, he should have adopted, the South African government should have adopted a neutral position and said, listen guys, we're not happy with the fuck up that's going on there, you must go for a ceasefire. Stop killing the people. Stop killing civilians, both sides. Stop killing you. Stop your killing shit. No. They thought it was a fucking clever plan to start more of a campaign against the Israeli government. Fucking in the streets and whatever. And I see Pandora's now up in arms and going to send food to Gaza and all that cuck. Meanwhile, on the Cape Flats, right in front of our fucking door, there are people that cannot eat because they don't have food. But no, they can fucking prance around on the international stage, making as if they are important. Don't they fucking realize that the other people at that table, people like Putin, Xi Jinping, the guy from Iran, the guy from Saudi, are intelligent people, highly intelligent people, and they sit and they listen to this cuck. What do you think is going on in their minds when they see this? And Malema, we must fuck Woolworths up. We must destroy jobs here in South Africa at Woolworths. We don't want any products from Israel to come into our country. And I think to myself, okay, all the people that are losing their jobs, all the mayhem that makes it impossible, because when they start with a cuck at Woolworths, they fuck the whole shopping centre up. But no, that superior logic does not care about that shit as long as we can shout and scream and destroy. I've said it in another Skidmark. You people that are so fond and in love with Malema, you better rock up to his office and say, hey, where's the jobs? We need jobs. Hey, where's the schools? We need education. Hey, we need the hospitals to work. What the fuck are you doing about that? No. They won't do that. Because why must the community benefit? The community must be hungry, jobless, with no future, and run around in the streets screaming after Malema. That is superior logic and natural intelligence at the best level, super level. And you may think this is a racist rant. This is not a racist rant. This is facts. It's there. Go and look at the MoneyWeb article. It is a fucking shame. But you will see when the people in the Cape start losing their jobs. The farmers can't, it will make no sense to harvest the table grapes because the things can't get out of the country. So they may as well just let all the fucking workers go and leave the grapes and let them turn into raisins on the vine. Because the ports are fucked. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.